Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the regulatory section of the EISA's technical seminar. I'm Gillian Roach-Saunders. For anybody who doesn't know me, I'm a partner at Adempi Associates, which is a compliance consultancy, and I also chair the EISA's regulatory committee. I'm afraid I can't be with you tonight, hence the pre-recorded video. I'm afraid this clashed with Adempi's first birthday celebrations, and well, you know which one of those won out. But I wouldn't want you to feel shortchanged in the ability to ask any questions. So if anything crops up for you over the course of the next 10, 15 minutes that you want to put on my radar or ask me about, fire away. You just need to send an email over to me. The best way to get hold of me for anything EISA regulated is to email me at regulation@eisa.org.uk. So tonight, we are going to be having the quickest canter through what's been happening over the last 6 months before we look at two topics which are going to be on the radar over the coming few months. So without further ado, let's take a backwards look at what's been happening since April. Of course, the biggest area of change this year has been the arrival of COVID-19. And the FCA was very aware of how much of an impact that could have on the firms that it regulates. And it tried to provide flexibility wherever it could, including regulatory reporting, SMCR, anything that really didn't have a direct impact on consumer protection. There was often some flexibility around. It is, however, expecting firms to get back to business as usual. And so if your firm has been using any area of flexibility, it's worth being aware of that kind of return and the tapering off of the flexibility provided, even though the world does not quite look normal for us yet. The second thing that I wanted to put on your radar is the financial promotions consultation that came from the Treasury this summer. You may have seen the member update about this, and thank you to those members who responded and gave us some ideas. Our submission went into Treasury, and we're currently waiting to hear back on the results of that. This, in case you missed it, this consultation was essentially trying to secure additional control for the FCA on financial promotions, and specifically the financial promotions that are signed off by third parties. And we saw this as pretty important to the venture capital industry, the ability of corporate finance houses, venture capital managers, lawyers, accountants to sign off marketing material on companies looking to raise finance. So we put in quite a strong submission about that, including highlighting that if there was to be any change, that we felt that members have already been essentially deemed to be suitable to sign off such financial promotions by putting in an application to the FCA as a venture capital firm. And we have also encouraged them to think about some more proportionate ways to maybe improve the quality of financial promotions in the industry. So we wait to hear back on that. The third thing I want to update you on is the alternatives review. This is the FCA's review of the alternative investments market, and they were planning on having a particular look at EIS, SEIS, and VCT providers in order to better understand the tax efficient space and landscape. We are still expecting this to come out. The FCA confirmed over the summer that this remains a priority area for them, and it's just about waiting for the right time. You may remember from last time that this is a survey that will go out to a wide range of firms and will take about 3 hours to respond to. That's the FCA's best estimate. We covered this in some ground in April, so I don't plan to go over the same topics here, but if that passed you by and you want to know what areas to look at, what we think likely topic areas to come up, like product governance are, then please do go and have a look at the April content in order to get up to speed with that. So that was the highlights from the last 6 months, and now we're going to have a quick look at what's up ahead in future. So the first thing that I want to talk to you about in our looking forward section is the Consumer Investments Market paper. This is a call for input paper that was recently released by the FCA. It marks a point in time where the FCA is planning on reimagining their policy on investments for retail, high net worth, sophisticated investors. Where should it draw the line between consumer protection and consumer choice? We think this is a pretty important paper for the EISA to be responding to, and we'd encourage members to respond to it also. It covers a range of topics, including things like frauds and scams that will be cross-industry relevant, things that may be of particular interest to members, such as the potential to ensure that the FSCS fees and levies are better geared towards being paid by the polluter, the bad apples who create the need for those payments. But perhaps most important is the section on high-risk investments. And we would like to encourage the FCA to have a more nuanced approach to what is high risk, in order that we can have more meaningful controls rather than simply placing a lot of things in a high risk bucket and then saying they cannot be touched by retail investors. So we're doing lots of thinking all about that as a committee. Mark and I were in talking to the FCA within a roundtable environment the other day, and we will plan to put in a response before the 15th of December deadline. And it's more voices, the merrier. So please do, if that's of interest, make sure that your voice is known as well. So, final looking forward topic, Brexit. We are getting very close to the end of that transition period on 31st of December. And so it feels appropriate to be talking about Brexit, even though I think we all wish we had a little bit more clarity by now. You will have received a member update from the Regulatory Committee at the start of this week, highlighting some of the FCA handbook changes so that you can get an advance preview on what's changing as far as we know it now. But essentially, there is still a lot to be answered over the coming 5 or 6 weeks. So what's worth knowing, in addition to having access to that member update, is that the FCA is really on a communications campaign with firms. There's a dedicated Brexit page that you can access at any point in time to get the latest. And as we get closer and closer, you are more likely to be receiving emails from the FCA encouraging you to plan. So do keep an eye out for those and have a look at the website if you need any assistance in planning. We do realise that members are predominantly focused on the UK when it comes to their EIS investments. However, if you do have a BIR offering or a UVECA fund, this may be particularly relevant to you in terms of planning. And of course, if you do other things beyond EIS, it may well be relevant. So do take a look at that page. Okay, well, that's it from me. I'll let you get back to the rest of your technical seminar and your evening, and hope to catch up with you soon. Bye for now.